is being recorded, and your participation is your consent to be rebroadcast on the town's YouTube channel. Also, if you have an electronic device, I'd appreciate you either putting it on mute or turning it off. Roll call, please.
William Clevenger.
Present.
Bill Giffens.
Here.
Jenny Monroe. Here. Dana Neer.
Here.
Sally Ricciardi.
Here. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the August 22nd, 2024 council meeting. Everyone had a chance to review the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections? If so, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
It's been moved by Ms. Ricciardi, seconded by Mr. Neer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next on the agenda is public concern, utility ordinance violations and appeals. Anyone in the room for any of those? Yes, sir.
Hi, Kerry Cheseldine, 520 South Plymouth. I've been coming to these meetings for 7 years now. I've been told to speak up, and I have, and I'm not sure I'm really getting anywhere. So I'm trying to get some clarification on procedure. Specifically, I am concerned lawn maintenance in the vicinity of Obispo and Badavana. It's been 4 months that I've been here, and I know there's lawn that have not been touched in those 4 months. And that's fine. I'm really concerned about what each homeowner is doing. My concern is with the procedure and the process for attending to this. And the granularity here is because if we can't fix these little things, how are we going to be able to manage some of the larger projects with certainty? It's the broken window syndrome that's not really getting addressed. Now, I'm not trying to be a jerk and make noise just for the heck of it. I'm just trying to evoke a process, which I believe is on the books, for cleaning up a little part of this town. And it's not asking much. I don't understand why this can't be enforced or why it can't be implemented. I'm looking for guidance from the town council as to what should I do or what is the process for me to do to get some of these lawns attended to. And some of them indeed are owned by homeowners. Others are the responsibility of Kate Marshall and her real estate company. If we can't get Kate and her labor to do it, how are we going to get anybody to do it? There are specific properties that are repeat offenders and no one seems to care. And I'm just venting my frustration in the fact that, as far as I know, there's an ordinance on the book that says you need to keep your lawn attended to at least on a monthly basis. And you can go there with a yardstick and measure these pieces of grass, weeds, whatever you want to call them. It's getting ridiculous. And maybe none of you goes by those properties. Maybe you should, but I do every day. And I'm just getting really frustrated because I'm a taxpayer like everybody else. Why can't we solve these little problems before they turn into big town council concerns? I ask for your guidance and recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may respond,
Please.
and I agree, there are certain homes that do need to probably have letters at this point. Last time that Mr. Cheseldine came in and we went for a golf cart ride, there are yards that are in need of mowing. I did call the realtor, and the 2 properties that Kate is selling down on Obispo Street were mowed. It hasn't been a month. It's been 3 weeks ago. Number one. Number two, there are still properties, to his point, that probably do, and I've had conversations with the folks. $9 a letter. I prefer to have a conversation. We had a conversation with a few properties on Ohio Street, and they've responded. To his point, there's probably to a point now that I need to send a letter on a couple properties, to be fair to him. But I was trying to use conversation and gain their perspective and their understanding. I think sometimes there is a feeling that there are people looking down their nose at them and they become very entrenched so to say, against the town, against people. And I try to avoid that, but at a certain point, to your point, the ordinance needs to be served. So with that, I'll take the recommendation and I'll move forward, and we will make sure that the ordinance is enforced, to your point.
And
I appreciate it.
I guess my concern is, what is the process? We don't have a code enforcement agent within the city.
It is my discretion and my job. The ordinance is very specific on height. Now, you have to be careful because there are certain sections of the lawn. For example, there's a property that has one small section versus the rest of it being mowed, right? And there is very specific wording about the height, which I have, and I can use that to enforce it. But that is something I can look at moving forward.
Yeah, even if you send a letter though, they have a certain amount of time to remediate.
It's been
fix it.
4 months for one property.
Can I have that property as
Once
location,
that,
just so I can get that done?
Bono and South Plymouth, that corner.
I know exactly where you're talking about.
once that 10-day period is up, I believe it's 10 days that we have to
See
give
what
them.
we can get at least.
Then you
10.
send, then you
Yep.
send another letter that says you are fining them. If they don't pay the fine within a certain amount of time, and they do get a certain amount of time to pay the fine, then you can put a lien on the property.
We can also enforce the mowing and charge them for the mowing.
And
Yes.
if the town wants to institute a volunteer mowing force, I am ready. I have a push mower. I don't mind at all.
You can't do that.
But we're good.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
appreciate,
happy to
I appreciate you keeping
I
on the
don't want-
forefront of my thoughts.
be pointing out problems without giving some solution. I'm willing to
Well,
partake.
There are solutions in place. I always tried the conversation. I may have tried the conversation too long, to my discredit. Maybe I should have just went right to the letters, but I was hoping that we could move people through conversation.
I appreciate it.
Okay. And I appreciate you coming back in and letting us know.
Any council member have anything they want to say or address it?
The two that are, the Marshall, they actually own them or they just?
No, they're
manage
for
them?
sale and
They're for sale.
they were getting
Okay.
bad and we did get them to mow and they're starting to
Okay.
get a little hairy again. So another conversation is that plan.
Okay.
But they did respond to my conversation. I'm hopeful they'll do the same again.
Usually, Carrie, you can't really hold a realtor responsible if they don't actually own the property or have some kind of contract in place. It's still gonna be a
We can
homeowner.
nudge the owner.
Yeah.
I've reached out to the owner on 2 occasions and there were a couple on
If
Main
the
Street
owner
as well.
wants to go hire someone or talk to his realtor, that's a whole nother thing.
If they
But
want to be motivated to sell that property, but who's going to keep it? Them, I would think.
yeah, I just don't know a lot of realtors are gonna go out and mow it, even if they're listening.
Yeah. I do have one matter, if that's, yep, appreciate you. I do have one, we did have a forgiveness policy for a sewer fee that I'd like, if I can read now on behalf.
All right.
It's for Sandra Eby. It's for 13424. There was a leak coming inside past her meter, but the water did not go into our sewer system. So the forgiveness is for the 13424 because it wasn't. Is that correct wording, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Very
you.
much.
And I just asked for the council to vote for approval of that forgiveness.
Motion to approve.
Been moved by Ms. Monroe. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Githens. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, council.
Anyone online for public concern utility ordinance violations? No online, okay. Next is public dialogue. Any other public dialogue? Okay. New business, schedule park superintendent interviews.
Currently, we've received a number of applications, enough to probably let's pursue an interview process. What Karen and I, through conversation the last couple of days, we were going to put those applications in your box for the viable candidates and let you look through them, obviously, prior to, but we'd like to go ahead and get interview process, probably looking at a number of interviews. So but I think enough through one day. Would you agree, Karen? We could probably knock it out in one session. So we'd just like to get that on the books if we could.
You have a suggested date?
I'm at the council's pleasure. I'd like to try to get it done this month if we could.
I was gonna say Sally and I leave at the end of the month for vacation. I'm gone the 29th through the October 6th. You leave early,
Okay,
second of October through the 10th. Is it our-
13th or 14th.
Yeah, if we could do this month, that'd be okay with me. I don't know if that puts you in a pickle, Dana, but
We have the plan commission coming up next week, I do believe on the 17th, if I'm not mistaken. Right, could we, I don't know the council schedule, but would Wednesday, the 18th work?
Dana, how about you?
What's the, Kevin, I may miss
What
it
time?
instead.
No, I was gonna go Wednesday 18th. Karen's shaking me up. She's going, nope.
Yeah, prior.
What
We
goes
do have
on
prior
before,
commitments.
Kevin, what goes on before our next scheduled meeting?
The redevelopment.
Not to
commission
redevelop.
meeting.
The redevelopment, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the problem with that one.
If you go Tuesday, the 12th.
We could do,
Tuesday, the
Is
24th.
that when? Or Monday, the 23rd.
I have a conflict on the 24th, but I can do the 23rd.
I can do the 23rd.
I also could
Yeah.
do the 23rd.
I can do the 23rd.
It's a Wednesday, Karen?
That's Monday.
Monday.
the 23rd.
Monday.
I have a haircut at 5, but.
Yeah, I think.
What
do you say, Kevin?
5 o'clock would work, would 5?
Yeah. 5 works for
5
me.
o'clock.
Haircut. Weren't we just talking about boldness? So 5,
I missed what Kevin said.
5 o'clock.
Just sarcastic comment.
He's
I said I have a haircut at 5.
Oh, a haircut.
5 o'clock on the 23rd, right?
Yes,
interviews at 5 o'clock on the
Monday,
Bring
23rd.
your-
We're going to have at her. Monday, 23rd, 5 o'clock. Thanks, Cal.
Next item is old business, Dunes Infrastructure Bid Award.
We do indeed. We have a notice of award for this evening. It's, we are the owner, Town of Culver, John Kimple and Associates. The bid, winner was construction management and design. The bid came in at $1,318,298.50. We're looking for approval this evening for the notice of the award, which will require the council's vote.
motion to approve the award to the lowest bidder.
Mr. Monroe motions to approve, moves to approve. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Mr. Githens is a nay.
Very good. I'll go 4-1 on that. Appreciate it, council. I will pass this to our president for his signature. While we're on the topic, we will be signing the contract next Tuesday. We need council's permission for President Clevenger to sign that contract on behalf for the town on Tuesday. So I'm asking the council to have that permission for his signature.
I motion to authorize Bill to sign the contract.
Mr. Monroe moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye. Nay.
Nay, Mr. Githens is a nay. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the AIM Medical Trust.
Yes, before the last meeting, I sent out the re-enrollment tool that they had sent to me that showed, like you look through it and see all the different options that the trust offers as far as health insurance plans. I wanted to give you that opportunity to see, just in case there was anything you wanted to change. I haven't heard anything from anybody, and I need to get it turned in by tomorrow. I would recommend, just for the sake of continuity and that we haven't discussed, that nothing else came up, that we go ahead and continue with the plan 2, which is a $750 PPO plan, and plan 8, which is the $3,300 high deductible health plan. And I would tell you that it was a 3% increase from last year.
I motion that we approve to continue with the insurance offerings of the current program that we're with the AIM Medical Trust.
Mr. Monroe moves. Second. Second by Mr. Nero. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Anything else, Karen?
On that note.
All right. Fire reports. EMS.
Yeah, no, I got a couple things I'd like to bring up. First is just an update for the council. EMS is getting ready to do a little bit of an upgrade to the station, the base. Those upgrades are painting. We're gonna take out the old carpet and put in some flooring. And then we're gonna kind of rearrange the two rooms that are upstairs here. All of this is under $2,500. We're gonna be doing all the installation and the work, just cleaning it up a little bit. So once we get that all done, hopefully y'all will come over and see it. We'll probably be getting going on that in the next week or two. And it may take a month or so since we're kind of doing it, but we'll kind of do it in sections and segments, and I think it'll clean it up a lot. So the other thing, I want to ask the council for approval. We really need to do something about our old base radio. I don't know, Sally might have been there when you were there. It's very old.
Mike, you're not buttering the bread here, Mike.
I vote nay.
No, but it's outdated. It's only a VHF radio, and everything is dispatched between VHF and 800 megahertz. So we need to upgrade that. If something would ever happen with this radio, there's no way to replace any parts on it. And to order new equipment, we're looking at like a lag of about 2 to 3 months to get stuff in. Maybe not.
I can't look at you.
I don't blame you. Oh, man.
Right here, Dan.
Focus. Okay.
So, yeah, I'm looking to get approval for a new base station and speakers. In fact, it's gonna be not only, because right now the base station is located just upstairs, but it would be nice for at 2 a.m. when we come out of our bedrooms, which are located downstairs in the garage area, to be able to answer the radio down in the garage area versus having to come upstairs to answer dispatch. So the quotes I got are for upgraded base station speakers, not only a base station upstairs, but downstairs. So ERS is the company that'll do the installation. Actually, I'll start with Motorola. Motorola, it's all the equipment's coming from Motorola. The radios, the speakers. I got a quote for $8,425. And then ERS is the people we've always used to program our radios and install, deal with our portables. They're going to do the installation, and the cost for the installation is $10,445.
Did you get an estimate from Culver Communications here in town?
No, I did not.
Why not, since they're local?
Yeah, what was the name of that company?
Culver Communications,
Alton?
Culver, C-U-L-V-E-R,
Okay.
like the name of the town.
No, I went with the sales rep, which is through ERS, who handles all, as far as I know, has always dealt with all of the communication, all of our
Well,
portables and everything.
That
So-
base station would have been installed by Rich Sitzma
Okay.
back in the day.
Okay, I can contact them
And he supplies batteries and repairs radios and
okay,
et cetera, et cetera.
okay,
And I would prefer that you got a bid from him as well.
okay, I can do that. So then I come back the next month then with that.
Yeah. I think, first of all, though, you need $2,500 for maintenance and new flooring and, okay, a motion.
It's actually gonna be less than that.
It's actually, Bill, it's less than 2,500. And it is budget, so he's got it. I don't think we need to.
Yeah, I don't see any need for it.
Pardon?
I don't see.
I don't think there's a need to vote
No,
because
no,
it's not up to
okay.
$2,500.
Oh, all right, yeah,
It'll
okay,
be definitely.
All right,
since we're doing
okay.
The installation and everything.
right, okay.
Regardless of who does the base radio and speakers, this will come out of your equipment budget line item or maintenance or, okay,
It's in it. We have a radio budget and everything's in the budget for that.
okay.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Fire, is Terry on?
He is not, he just stopped in this afternoon and said he would be unable to be here tonight. But he did ask me to mention that 3 of the firemen went to Minnesota at the end of August to meet with Rosenbauer on the new fire truck and discuss options. Or they're starting to work on it. And he should be able to provide more information at this.
All right,
So they're moving on the new truck.
all right. Police. Wayne, are you on?
I don't have anybody online.
Oh, you don't have?
Wayne checked in with me. We had lunch. Good to go. There's nothing on the radar and things are
Okay,
good. Gave me his report.
since we don't have a park director, I guess we don't have a park report.
Uh,
Do you?
we do.
Oh, okay.
Brought to you by the interim. Right now at the park, we're in current conversation with Tim Uhas. We're trying to understand where we're at on Pier Socket B contract. Some of the difficulties that we're trying to align is what the real cost will be. Talking with Tim, one of the issues is the piers would have to come out this fall. So the removal of the piers, they would pull the Pier Socket B out. But in order to reinstall the new pier sockets, he has to put the pier back in as he goes and then take it back out for the winter. So there's this additional cost. One of the questions, how can we do it in the spring? He says no, because it runs up. So the conversation is becoming to a point where I don't think, number one, it's advantageous for the town to push forward to get it done before we put a new RFP out. We're currently still having conversations. I just want to make sure the council is aware that those conversations are happening. I will put in your box the current rendition of the estimates that I have, so you can study and advise as according to how you want to proceed. We'll probably bring that back to you at the end of September meeting, as we'd have to make a decision if we're going to do it. But I want to make sure that you have some time to think. So that's where we're at on the park. Other than that, Crystal's been doing a wonderful job down there, keeping maintenance on her own. And moving forward, I think she would appreciate if we move forward with the director, but we'll tackle that bridge as we go, or tackle that as we go. So that's where we're at on the park.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Bob, utilities.
Nothing for me, unless you have something for me.
Town manager report.
Yeah, hey. Ole. The first item of business is just an update. Earlier, we approved Midwestern Engineering to put an addendum for the water plant study along with our wastewater study. That study has been conducted and they have presented us with information for the upgrades that will probably be in your box. We'll share that as we go, but we'll probably be looking at that for the end of the month. Those improvements, those costs, as we kind of just lock that down. Go
Has
ahead.
he finalized that yet? Because the one he gave us,
That
that was a draft.
that's exactly what we're waiting on.
Okay, good.
And that's what I meant by when we
Okay.
finalize that. We do have a pretty good estimate from the study though. He just wanted to secure that. So that's just to bring to your knowledge that study was done.
And is that kind of a mix of both capacity and need, long-term need and
That,
fixes and efficiency and,
that gets us
Center.
past this hump.
okay,
It definitely, it takes advantage, it matches our flow with our filter capacity, I
okay,
think would be a fair.
When we built the plant, we had the big filter put in, but there's littler pumps. So this will bring all those pumps up to the same playing
Level as
field
that filter?
as the filter.
okay.
I do have a request, an agreement for engineering and construction inspection services. The infrastructure that is related, specifically the water and the sewer to the Dunes project. We are requesting up to $70,000, not to exceed $70,000 for that inspection fee through Midwestern. And I ask for the council's approval. This will satisfy the ready portion of the grant and secure to make sure that they're in compliance as we take that infrastructure, there we go, over. I asked the council for the approval up to $70,000 and there's the,
I think it's a
Agreement.
good idea to have that, our expert be the inspector.
And this isn't full-time inspections, it's part-time. I'll do the other part-time.
Yeah, you'll be like the
This-
daily, you'll bring him in for the big stuff.
Well, somebody will be on site. It won't be a full 2 days because there'll be some housekeeping to do in the office.
it's for that infrastructure.
Okay.
But this will quantify
For
for
water as they
pay
install.
items. footages, as-bills, things like that.
Okay.
Is my
I have
understanding.
motion to approve the inspector contract with Midwestern.
Mr. Monroe moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Shardy.
I have one clarification. Bob, that contract was specifically for the water and the sewer?
Water and sewer.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify.
And that'd be a
Mr.
water
Gibbons had a
sewer
question.
split because of the
Yes, sir. Yes.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
No. Mr. Githens votes nay.
Noted. Thank you.
One other thing, Kevin, is the payment, do we need a motion for that payment for that addendum? Because that's already been completed.
I thought we authorized that payment earlier, but we can,
I don't know, I'm asking.
yeah, my understanding was that we were authorized.
A few months ago.
Yeah, we authorized
Okay.
this payment of it. And if not,
No,
I'm
I
not
just,
ready. Yeah,
It's authorized, but it hadn't been paid yet.
that's correct.
Hmm.
Yes, no, it hasn't.
That's it. See, that's
When-
what,
That
that's
just seems
what
to
I'm
be-
asking.
Yeah, when it comes to money, I always turn left on that one.
That's
All
what I'm
right.
asking.
I haven't seen it.
I'm a smart man.
But it's coming, so that's why I clarified.
I have an order of business. Thank you. In speaking with Mr. Porter here, we've been discussing the possibility of shifting hours for our streets utilities department from the current to 7 to 3. One of the reasons is we like to get an earlier start before road traffic starts and start getting out there when we need to get some things done. Also with the heat, oftentimes we're adjusting the hours anyway. Also in the winter, we need them out there before the traffic hits the road. So we think there's maybe some sensibility to it in our conversations. The second part of that is separate. One of the things Bob brought to my attention was that they're the only ones that are actually clocking out during lunch. And we like to go ahead and have that as a paid lunch, a 30-minute lunch. It doesn't change the duration of it, but to include that in their daily schedules and not have them clock out for that. We're asking the council's permission on twofold. Number one, that we adjust the hours to 7 to 3. And the second, that they have that paid lunch. They do not clock out for that lunch. And that would be consistent with the rest of the town. So I asked the council's permission for that.
Motion to approve both of those policies.
Been moved by Mr. Monroe. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. New. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, council. That's done. Review the ordinance. I have a disabled parking request. That disabled persons will be on North Main Street. There we go. Get it right. It's sitting in front, just north of the subway parking lot. I'm currently working on it. Probably going to bring it to your attention on the next council meeting. I wanted to make you privy that that's happening. If there's any advice or anything that I need to consider or possible history behind it with parking, I'd appreciate the council's advice before the next meeting. I'll be presenting that ordinance in the next meeting. So if you could give me feedback through my email, I'd appreciate it. Last thing, I guess, order of business. I've got a couple special event permits.
Just north, is that on the east side or the west side?
It will be on the east side of the
In
road.
front of Easter.
Yeah, it's in front of Easter days.
It's not east.
Yes, sir.
No.
And I'll have exhibit for you so you can see it at the time. Yep.
Question?
Yep, good question. I got St. Michael's
Yeah.
celebration. Here we go. On Lewis Street, St. Mary of the Lake. Father Stephen is holding it on September 29th. They're requesting from noon to 3 p.m. It is food, games, a small bonfire contained for hot dogs and marshmallows, if you're into that, around the church. There's drop off. Will alcohol be served? They wrote down BYO, so bring your own. Committee will clean up everything. Fire extinguisher and dedicated person to oversee it will be present at the time. All departments have signed off. And again, the date is September 29th between noon and 3 p.m. I ask for permission and of approval of this special permit.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Monroe. A second.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. We have a visitor. Andrea is also online, so any questions you might have would be addressed there. I have a special event permit that pertains to her for FallFest. It's time for another fest here in Culver. October 25th through 27th. We're looking at on the 25th from 5 PM to 10 PM. The 26th will be 9 AM to 10 PM. And the 27th will be 9 AM to 3 PM. Looks like it's our standard fest. Parking is going to be adjusted. Blocking and closure, we're looking at Madison and Main Street and West Jefferson Street, Main and East Jefferson Street, and Main and Washington Street. Parking in front of Main Street businesses between Madison and Washington for road closure will be impacted. And I'm sure, Andrea, you're online, you've done your due diligence. Affected business owner was Lucretia Cafe Max, One Earthworks, 111, Handmade Happenings, everything on Main Street there. Andrea, is there anything I'm missing? There will be alcohol served as well. Do you want to add?
Hear me? Oh, hello?
Hello?
I assume it's like a beer garden in the park.
Can you
It
hear me?
is.
thing.
That's was my understanding of it.
Hello?
Motion to approve the special event permit, including the
Hello?
beer garden component in the park.
Ms.
Not
Monroe
sure.
moves. May I have a second, please?
I'm not sure if you can hear me or not.
Is it on the street or in the park?
Well, it's Main Street. It's in the street.
Hello?
Yeah.
They've done it
It's
in
in
the
front of
street.
Lucretia.
Yes, exactly.
Hello?
It's the same where it's always.
Yeah, well, it's always been.
Location hasn't changed. Sorry. What I read off there.
Second.
I'll second it. Well,
Second by
Hello?
Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Pose same sign. Thank you.
And to get this guy off the stage, last thing I want to say is paving is finishing up this week. It's looking great, and I think we did quite a bit this year. The roads are looking good. Bob and I talked about when we get some rain, we're going to get the sweeper out, and
There's that rain, we get her out.
there we go. And so
That should be here in October.
There it is. Thank you. That's it for me.
Karen, your report?
I have two claims over 2,500 for your approval. The first one, or both of them are from Miller Insurance, just separate insurance policies. The first one is 97,590, and that is for property liability and cyber insurance. The other one, Miller Insurance for 3,604, and that is the workman's comp audit. So as I explained in my Clerk's report, which you have in front of you, Miller Insurance did put our policy out to a couple of different groups. Municipalities can be sometimes difficult to find somebody to sponsor or, to quote on. And we're at kind of a size that is kind of specialized. So he did get two. He used, I think it was Liberty was the one, and then EMC. He did use the Liberty quote to drive down our EMC quote. There were a couple of spots in Liberty that were better than what we had. So overall, it's about an 8% increase. And I also asked him to add the cyber insurance because that's becoming more and more of an issue. Thankfully, we have not seen that, and hopefully by me saying that is not opening us up to something happening. But with this policy, we have $1 million policy.
Motion to approve the claims.
Been moved by Mr. Monroe, second. Second by Mr. Neer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Thank you.
The second thing I have, Bob mentioned the street sweeper should be coming in October. And I did put that out for financing through the Indiana Bond Bank. They have a help program where they basically take your information and they put it out to a number of different banks. And so they came back to me with one that is 60 months. Down payment is 30,000. The annual payment would be 53,214. And that would be one payment per year. We budgeted $60,000 per year for payment. And actually the interest rate was a percentage lower than what they quoted me when I put this out earlier in the year before we knew we weren't going to get rid of it. So 50% of that, 50% of the payment would come from street, the other 50% would come from MPH. So,
Do you need a motion to approve moving forward with the financing, in other words?
if you are prepared to do that tonight, if you don't want to, with the street sweeper coming in October, I mean, it could probably wait, but I'd like to respond back in a timely fashion.
Or just motion we authorize Karen to move forward with financing the street sweeper as she sees fit.
I'll second that.
Mr. Monroe moves, Mr. Shardy seconds. Any discussion?
Interest rate is 4.25%.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Thank you.
Another thing with September, I'm looking at the end of the year, the annual capital asset report is something that we typically contract with John Pearson to do. He has provided a proposal to complete that process for $2,075. As you know, everything's getting more and more complicated, and the state is requiring more information. So having John do that frees up a lot. So if I can have approval for that proposal.
Motion to approve.
Ms. Monroe moves to approve. Second. Second by Mr. Neer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign.
And just a couple of reminders, September 26th is the public hearing on the 2025 budget. That budget, that notice has been posted online. It was sent out by via Town Gown Lake, and a separate distribution list that I have. It's also posted out front. You can go to in.gov/DLGF and look for the gateway, and they have a ton of reports that you can look up to just to see how our budget, our future budget, our proposed budget, past budgets, how money has been spent, the public to look at. September 27th and 28th are the townwide garage sales. If you want to participate, that information, I need that information by Tuesday, September 24th. And we'll get those maps or that listing out on Thursday. And then finally, October 7th is pickup day for the townwide cleanup. You can put your stuff out to the curb over the weekend. And the guys will be around October 7th, which is a Monday, to pick it up. You will accept almost anything. The only things they will not accept are tire and hazardous waste. That's all I have.
Thank you. Sean?
Just a couple of questions, things popped to mind. With the change to the utilities worker schedule and the paid lunch, will that require any ordinance amendment or job description changes or anything like that, or any documentation? No.
Might be in the employee handbook, I'm not sure.
Maybe
I'm
check
sure
into
I
that.
need to look at the current, I don't know if it's in the salary ordinance as it stands right now in terms of hours of operation as well as lunch. Let me review that.
Individual job
I
descriptions.
appreciate you bringing my attention to it.
And
So
just let me know if there's any assistance with
thank you.
amending things. And then the other thing I was wondering about the electric car charging station. I know when I was with Plymouth that we got that as part of a grant, and in our grant proposal, we agreed to give 2 hours of free charging for the first 2 years. And I'm thinking I don't know if you've ever adopted any fees for.
We do get fees.
Yeah.
Okay, you
Yeah,
have
we're
that.
making
Okay.
about,
Yeah, the 2-year period's up and then we're going to pay now.
oh, we were already.
No, we're already
Or
after.
Beyond the 2 hours.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I said,
yeah.
that's 2
So
years.
we're getting about 300, I think 1 month
Okay.
one month we got like
Free time
300
is up.
Great.
some
Hmm.
dollars. So.
Good.
All right, good.
Yep.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay.
I have a feeling you got a big chunk off of me when I screwed up how to do it. I thought you were download the app a little bit. And I finally just hit the credit card, then I forgot it was there. I did it for my niece. That was a hot mess. Teenagers. Anyway, you might have a higher bill this month or revenue.
$22,789.03.
Mr. Neer, any council issues?
I have none.
Ms. Monroe?
I don't have any issues. I do have an idea that maybe we would start like next year. I was thinking about, because I've been in my travels, into a lot of meetings like our own. And trying to figure out the whole sort of how do you engage the public long before you do projects? Because it seems like we always get like feedback the day the project goes live, even if we talk about it for 3 years. So I was thinking about, there's a mayor that does kind of an interesting thing where he has like coffee day, where during lunch, he'll meet with people over coffee, but Is you, we could have like cookies with council, like once a quarter on a, an hour randomly. We can set a topic if we want, or it could just be open to the public, like, come on and tell us your ideas. Kind of like, I don't know, town style, whatever, where you could set the topic, or we could also invite people to come in and engage, like youth cookie night with the council, and ask, send invites to the schools and ask if kids want to come talk to us about their ideas about the community or whatever. And maybe have more of a friendly once a quarter, we're just here to take input for the sake of taking input. I just wondered if you guys would be open to something like that for the coming year. So every time we have public engagement, it's like,
Make a suggestion that you do it in a location other than town hall,
mhm.
number one, and number two, limit it to 2 council members so that it doesn't have to be advertised as a meeting.
Yeah, and then you could rotate.
And then you can rotate, and then, you don't need minutes, you don't need anything like that.
Mhm.
And then maybe change up the different council members, but have some sort of method then to report to the other council members, who showed up, what was talked about, that sort of thing, so that it is communicated. But it would just, then not everybody's on
Mhm.
task, and I would think for a citizen coming in and approaching 5 people,
Versus 2.
maybe a little more intimidating than, maybe 2 or just 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea. And I don't know that we necessarily have to set a topic, but like, I know we want to talk about Main Street coming up and ideas for Main Street, how to revive some empty storefronts or revive foot traffic or whatever. Maybe that's a topic. Maybe there is just no topic and we're there so people can feel like they don't have to come in this formal setting. They can come into a casual setting and go, hey, why don't you guys work on this or that? Or, you know what I mean? Because it always feels like we get into these projects at the construction phase is when people decide they're going to say something. And then ironically, they all have ideas after the fact. And it'd be nice to like have, and we can even say, this cookie night, we're going to have our EMS director's going to be there if you want to talk about whatever. Or, we can have a guest, we can have an attorney. For, like Jeanette's working on our zoning ordinance stuff, there might be something that's just on people's minds in the community. I don't know. But we just let it be, and I like the idea of rotating the council members, and then they could come to the next council meeting and just say, hey, we had 4 people show up, or 50 or whatever, and report back to everyone else. Yeah, and I don't think we need to put it on staff to have to attend. If they want to, they can, or if we want to do something, if one of the department heads has an idea they want to bring into that sort of environment, we can do that, but we don't have to have any purpose of educating people. It could just be, we're here to hear whatever you want to talk about.
I think it's a good idea.
And if it's like cookies with counselors, something more casual, maybe it opens the door to people coming in. And I'm happy to bake for it when I'm the person on rotation. Otherwise, we can expense it by buying from one of the local businesses, maybe.
Could we do it, start one this fall instead of waiting until the year?
Yeah. Fall, holiday, whatever. I'm happy to help organize it. And
It's not
Get
at
it
the
going.
beginning of October.
yeah, and I think we should, publicize the concept of it, a flyer, maybe. I can work on doing
Yeah.
that. And then we just pick our dates for the coming year, maybe. And we just rotate in the council members.
Good idea, Jenny.
Wasn't really my idea. I stole it from the mayor. The ideas.
Sally, you have anything?
I don't.
I have one thing that came out of, Kevin and I had a breakfast meeting this morning with, the downtown merchants. And, Kevin alluded to the handicap parking spot by Easter days. There seems to be a consensus that they might want to have one more downtown. And one thought is that that space that's in front of the auto parts store, the reluctance on the part of, the merchants is to take any space on Main Street, but that doesn't seem to be a continuously parked area, but it's close enough to the handicap ramps and one thing. And actually, we only have 2 handicap spots downtown, one by Lucretia
It's across the street on Mass.
and by Lucretia and the other one, by, the bank.
We could do a 2 for,
Mhm.
but I can write that in. We can get 2 in if that's a
Okay,
suggestion.
that's
We'll take a look.
just
at
what
it.
came out this morning.
Sure thing. Absolutely, sir.
Yeah, especially if the merchants are giving that input, they know who their
Yeah,
customers
right.
are, who's
Yep,
trying to get to
that's-
them.
Valuable to know.
I have nothing else. Bill?
I have nothing.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr.
Yeah.
Githens. Second by Mr. Ferry.
Yep.
Second by Mr. Ferry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.